As they remind me of the Cenobites from Clive Barker's Hellraiser, the Knights Revenant are one of my favorite factions. But in Faction Wars, not so much.
The box. You opened it. We came.
Finally, he sleeps here with another video in the Faction Wars series. Lydia, the whole point of working your way through Faction Wars is to reach the Death Siren. To get there, though, you'll need to 3-star each and every level in all of the factions. Tonight, we're looking at Knights Revenant, specifically the final boss, level 21. First, though, make sure you subscribe. Here at YouTube, turn on notifications so you never miss when a video goes live. It's simple and free, but does make a big difference for the channel. So now, this faction, it has a lot of great champions. Many specifically set up for Doom Tower. There are a wide variety of champions to choose here, but you'll want to make sure you have the 3 bases covered, as in with any team in Faction Wars. You'll need at least a damage dealer and maybe a nuker. Crowd control, someone to help you through the waves with an AoE that lays down a lot of debuffs, and most importantly, a support champion that can keep the whole team in the fight. Now, for my team, I opted for Rector Drath as my support. She's the only real revive champ in this entire faction. She'll keep everyone healed and under veils too. You're going to set her up with heavy HP, heavy resist, and decent speed, and she's going to keep you into the fight until the end. Now, there are no other reviver options other than Rector Drath in this faction. So without her, you're going to need to focus on heavy healing, HP, defense, and high resist to make it through. Shield sets would even help as well. So shield, bolster, anything like that. Now for crowd control in the waves, Gaius the Gleeful brings bombs and an AoE sleep. Soulless and even Gladiator would be viable substitutes if you did not get Gaius the Gleeful, who was a free fusion event from last year. Tomb Lord brings an AoE decrease attack and decrease defense as well. If you don't have Tomb Lord, Thylesia would work here as well. Calvalax passive lays down a ton of poisons, and then you pair him with Tomb Lord, and it's just a lot of debuffs. Calvalax's AoE then attacks everyone with scaled damage. Now, the Walking Tomb Drang also has a decent AoE for HP burn, but his big plus is his A3, an HP equalizer that brings all allies up to the level of the ally with the highest HP. Now, when it comes to raw damage above and beyond the crowd control already mentioned, everyone in this group hits hard and lays down a lot of damage, dealing debuffs between poison, bombs, and HP burn. Gaius the Gleeful and Drang were both free fusion champs. Plarium has offered up targeted pulls for Rector Drath multiple times too. But if you're short on these legendary champs, there are other options. Other than Rector Drath, this faction is short on revivers, so if you don't have her, you're going to want to make sure you have heavy defense, lifesteal gear, and massive resist on your full team. You can bring in Senesha and Skullcrown as a combo. Skullcrown for crowd control and heavy damage. Senesha brings healing as well, and a mere skill to Drang on equalizing the team's HP. Miscreated Monster is another powerful champion for this faction. He brings crowd control with a stun and team support with ally protection and continuous heals. The thing with Faction Wars is you're bringing 5 champs to each battle, and you need to build them a specific way. Your damage dealers are going to have at least 100% crit rate, and try to get your crit damage above 200. Put them in lifesteal as well, because they're going to be laying down a lot of damage that will keep them in. Now for support, healing, reviving, make sure you put them in a bolster set or shield set. And for crowd control, it's anybody who's laying down a lot of AoEs that do slow or weaken the waves on your way to the boss. Now, once you make it here to the purple boss, things get deadly. The boss brings a game-changing A2 and an epically awful, it's not good, it's epically awful A3 that you need to be prepared for. She has 2 minions. The left one lays down provokes on your champions, and right one gives your champs the leech debuff. You'll need to deal with these first before you tackle the boss. The boss's A1 is an AoE that places fear, which means you'll need either block debuffs, a cleanser, or high enough resist to keep the fear from overwhelming your squad. Her A2 is a 3-turn cooldown AoE that steals all buffs and then transfers her debuffs onto your whole team. Now, this is a dangerous one if you're bringing heavy buffs and debuffs, and my squad is full of damaging debuffs like poison and HP and bombs, so this one really it's bad for me. Her A3 is even worse because it's a 12-turn cooldown HP exchange. So even if she's almost dead, once it comes up, she can just swap HP with your best champ and put her back in the fight. You'll need to be fast so you can either kill her before she hits 12 turns, or better yet, slow her down with decreased speed. Beside dealing with the minions first, if you can freeze, stun, or sleep them to slow them down, then just let your AoEs do their work while you focus on the boss. That will help more so than wasting a bunch of turns trying to kill them off before tackling the boss. Now, more importantly, you'll want to bring high resist to minimize the boss and minions' chances of loading you up with debuffs. Speed will also be a major factor when dealing with the purple boss. You don't want her using her A3. Now, if you don't have a cleanser or block debuffs on everyone, resist is the most important aspect of this level. If you have other factions you're struggling with, check out the whole Faction Wars series here on the channel. All the links for the full series are below in the video description. Remember, there's really only a few different bosses you have to tackle, and they're color based. And once you start to understand what each color does, you'll have a much easier time working your way through the boss levels at 7, 14, and 21 for all the factions. Now, if any of this information helped you out along the way on your run towards Lydia, please consider subscribing here on YouTube. It's a small gesture that goes a long way toward the growth of the channel. I'm Finally He Sleeps. Thanks for hanging out, and as always, as long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep making videos.